today I am having a meeting with my manager from my school that I work for. I think you guys know, I think I've told you before that the company that I work for is a bit far away to commute, and then given the fact that I just given birth to my son, well, not just, but like it's September the 27th today, and I gave birth around August, so I am going to be having a conversation with them with like the plan of me coming back to the company. And they gave me a couple of options about how I can come back, and I think I'm going to tell them today that I can't come back. I think I want to come back either next year to the company, or yeah, I don't know when I'm ready. So for now, I just want to be home with my son. I'm not comfortable with him going to nursery, and I just want to like see him grow. That's always been my plan in life, to like stay home and raise my child, ideally for at least a year. But given the situation and the fact that we came to Japan to work and we came to Japan for money, I'll probably stay home until 4 or 5 months max, and then I will think about getting back to work. So yeah, we're gonna have that meeting today and just like talk about my plans and what I'm gonna do. So yeah, we'll see. I miss the kids at my school so much. Like, I don't miss the working, but I miss like being with the kids and interacting with the kids so much. Like, I don't know why I have attachment issues. Every time I teach somewhere, I have a bond with the kids at that specific school, and like it's very hard for me to like separate work and feelings because I care about them so much. But yeah, we'll see how the meeting goes, and then I'll update you guys as I finish. Yeah, so today is the 27th of September. Yeah, 27th of September. I just had a meeting with my manager. I think I just resigned from my company. I told them like I'm not coming back and I'm not ready because my son is still too small. So yeah, I plan to go back to work at least maybe when it's like 6 months old or so. I'm not sure, but for now I think, yeah, I'm not ready to go back to work. And also it's like a little far for me to go work there, so we just decided like, okay, maybe I should be like a stay-at-home mom. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. So this is an update about my job. I officially resigned, which means that I obviously have to sign documentation to say that I don't work there anymore and blah 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 blah, which my manager has sent over and I have done. The next process and the next step is for me to send my uniform that I got from the school, and basically like all the property that I got from the school. Basically, when I started working there, I signed a contract that says that if I lose any of those things, I would pay for it, or if I can't send it, I have to rebuy it or whatever. So I've kept all my stuff like safe. And when I went on maternity leave, I made sure that I washed all my uniform and I packed it away because I knew that this would be my decision, low-key, after giving birth. Yeah, so I need to go to the post office and send over my package to the school, which initially I thought that I was gonna go there in person and send the stuff to the school myself, but my baby is still small and I am not really in the mood to travel like an hour and 30 minutes, like 3 hours basically, to go there and back. I'm not in the mood to do any of that, and that's going to take me out of the routine that I'm already in. So yeah, the best possible option that I have right now is to send it via the post office, and the Japanese post office is very good, so it'll probably deliver the stuff the next day. I'm gonna go do that today, so I'm gonna pack up my whistle, my name tag, and all the uniform that I got from the school and just like send it through, and then I'll email my manager and let them know that they are coming. And yeah, I will start the process of just like other stuff, because there's a lot of things I need to do in order to not be working anymore in this country basically. So yeah, that's the update. Hey, what's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Bradley, but I go by Zuri on social media platforms. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. So today I just thought we should take a little bit of a break from all the newborn diaries, pregnancy diaries, basically all the vlogs that's been happening right now, and just talk about teaching English in Japan and the fact that my journey has come to an end when it comes to that aspect of my life. I'll just explain a little bit in this video about my thought process and why I came to this decision. I think most of you guys know, because I recently just had a baby, obviously I've decided to extend my maternity leave, obviously, like not really extending it, but like rather choosing not to go back to work at this very moment and seeing where life takes me moving forward. So a little bit about what I want to talk about, like my reasons as to why I'm not going back to work, is the fact that when I started working for the company that I worked for, initially I already kind of knew with how things were set up that I was not going to stay there for more than a year. Whether I had a baby or not, I was already low-key had decided that I was not going to go back, mainly because if you don't know, I am a high school qualified teacher. Like, I'm a qualified high school teacher, and the place where I worked, although it was an international school, I taught 2-year-olds, which is something that was way out of my comfort zone. Like, if there's anything that you should know about me, is the fact that I will try something once and I will decide from that if I want to do it or not. And up until this time in my life, I've taught all grades. Like, I think the grade that I haven't taught is grade 4 and grade 3, but I've taught all the grades from basically now like 2-year-olds until like 18-year-olds in my career of like teaching. And I knew that teaching 2-year-olds was basically not going to be something that I wanted to do. Granted, the school that I worked for was like a great school, like they had great holidays, pay was good, the working hours are like standard like working hours here in Japan, and like the colleagues that I work with were very like, you know, like they were chilled, and the school was just chilled in general. But there were factors that contributed to my decision of me not wanting to go back, and my biggest one was the commute. The commute was very, very long. Even if now I want to go back, I would commute for 3 hours. I waste 3 hours of my life on the road getting to work, and I come back home at like 7 p.m. at night, which is something that is not ideal for me. And I decided from that on that like maybe I don't want to do this, especially now that I do have a child. I don't want to come back home at 7 p.m. at night. Like, when am I gonna cook? When am I gonna spend time with my child? When am I gonna do anything in general? Like, because I always come back, I used to be so tired. And then the other factor that contributed to me leaving is the fact that teaching 2-year-olds is very demanding. Like, it is very physically demanding, because you constantly have to pick them up like early in the morning when parents do drop-offs. Like, kids have attachment, like they are attached to, not attachment issues they are attached to their parent. So like separating mommy from child early in the morning was sometimes it was a smooth process, but sometimes it was a very difficult process. Like, some kids would cry for like hours and hours and hours on end, and it was not just one kid, it was like a classroom of like 20, 25, 30 kids, and it was a lot. So that kind of stuff like took a toll on me, because like it wasn't something that I'm used to. Like, it was a lot of crying, and like, kudos to those teachers that can actually do that and can take that. Like, but for me personally and my personality, like, that is not something that I could do, and I could like, you know, get used to. As much as I tried, I knew that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just genuinely waiting for a year to pass so my contract can finish, and then I will tell the school that I was not renewing, because it was really a lot. Like, the separation from parent to child was a lot in the morning, and then since the kid is crying and they don't want to be put down, the parent comes to school with their child already in their arms, and then when they do the transfer, they transfer their baby or their toddler at that point into your arms. And some of the kids were a bit big, some of the kids, like, weight wise, like it was just too much. It was just physically taxing in that sense, and I was not getting used to it. And then things progressively got worse because I got pregnant. I couldn't really pick up kids anymore. I remember there was some point where one of the kids was so angry, like crying, screaming, and they kicked me in my stomach, and that was like not really good because like I was pregnant. So yeah, that stuff played a role into why I actually decided like I don't want to teach this age group anymore. It wasn't even about the school, it's just like about the age group. I don't want to teach that age group anymore. And then the other thing that contributed to my factor to deciding not to go back is the fact that I don't know, I think maybe it's like a Japan thing. I don't think it was specifically an isolated situation to my school, because my husband also tells me at his school there are no cleaners. So we used to clean the toilet, the hallway, the kitchen, the classroom. We used to just clean everything at that school. So you are a teacher, basically a caretaker, and then also like you have to like clean the campus, which I didn't understand why we had to do that. That took away so much time. You couldn't really prepare material for like your lessons and all of that stuff and blah 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 blah. So it was just a lot. And then the fact that you had to feed the kids, you have to change the kids, you have to like change diapers, like pee diaper, poop diaper, and all of that stuff, like that to me was just too much, personally speaking. And I know out there are people that actually can do that, and oh my gosh, I am grateful for your resilience and the type of person that you are. But like for me, I genuinely know myself, I can't do that. Like I need to teach all the kids where I can have mentally stimulating conversations and just like interact on like a different level compared to the level that I was teaching at. And not to say that I don't value what I did at that school or what I did for the 2-year-olds in the time that I taught. Like I really did see the importance of them going to school and actually like interacting and teaching them the English that I was teaching them. It was actually really good to see them like improve and learn, but at the same time it was like mentally and physically taxing on me, and I was just like, I can't do this. Like I really cannot do this. I'm not built to do this. Like sometimes things are not for you and you know that things are not for you. And I was really honest with myself, and I told myself like, I love everything, like the idea of the job, but I can't really do the job because of these specific factors. And yeah, that's when I decided. I even told some of my coworkers, I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna come back next year, because I really do want to teach high school. I really want to do even like primary school, like grade 7, grade 6 at most, which is a grade that I've taught before. I was like, I don't see myself coming back here because it's a lot for me. I wouldn't even be able to go out on weekends, because Saturday, Sunday I'd rest because my body would be so tired from like the physical aspect of the job basically. So yeah, that is something that you have to consider, like especially if you come to Japan, because these ELC type jobs, there's a lot of them. Like they're hiring a lot in this specific department, because there's a lot of people that obviously like rotate between these jobs because it is physically taxing. I don't know how other campuses worked, but at my campus we got like an hour of a break to rest with no contact with kids, but in most cases it didn't turn out like that. So yeah, you have to like really consider that when you do come working in Japan. And then obviously my other factor, like the biggest reason why I basically chose not to go back to work, is the fact that I recently had a baby, and I have just decided that I maybe want to take a bit longer to go back to work. My company offered me 8 weeks. Like maternity leave in Japan is not even my company. The law in Japan basically states that maternity leave is 3 months, so a month before you give birth, and then 8 weeks after you give birth. So I was expected to go back to work 8 weeks after I gave birth, so which means my son would be 8 weeks, and then I'd have to go back to work. Which then I thought to myself like, no, he was still way too small, number one. And then also like I really didn't want to take him to nursery, because mind you, I was an adult and I worked at a nursery, as to say, and I got sick constantly. Can you imagine him as a small baby going to nursery and how sick he would get all the time? So I thought to myself, maybe not. Maybe let me raise my child for a little bit before I decide taking him to nursery. And then the other thing is that also like the nursery where he's gonna go, I come back home at 7 at night. He's gonna be spending time at an affordable nursery, mind you, and they'll be talking to him in Japanese. That's the other thing too, like the language part of it. Like he's gonna be learning Japanese. I'm not Japanese, Diabot is not Japanese, and he's actually Afrikaans. I'm Tonga. So it's just a lot to put on a baby. And also our Japanese level is not that great. There's a lady that lives around our apartments that also works, who's a foreigner. She takes a child to the nursery here. I asked her the other day, what language does your child communicate? And she was like to me, she communicates in Japanese, because your child spends most of their life in school and very little time with you, because when you get home, you feed them, you bathe them, they go to bed, they repeat. So her baby speaks in Japanese, and I'm just like, I don't think I want my child to speak in Japanese, and I'm gonna decide to stay home and raise my baby because of that specific factor. And then my other thing is that if I wanted to take him to an international school, they're only gonna accept him when he turns 1. So I have to wait until he turns 1 for me to take him to an international school, which will be a school that will probably be teaching him in English. So yeah, there's a lot that happens when it comes to that. So with all of that bundled up and all of those reasons, I just decided, you know what, just resigning, clean slate, and like leaving things as is the best way. Because if I'm honest with myself, I know that even if my son was a bit older, I would not be able to go back to working there because it's far. My campus actually does have higher levels, like they have a primary school, I think they have a high school, I might be wrong, but these campuses are far away. I think like in Osaka and like further away from where I stay, which then would mean that I would commute for a very long time, or we had to relocate. So yeah, but this is what's happening right now. We've spoken, me and my partner, and decided that, you know, like being a stay-at-home mom is probably the best option for us right now, and I'd be able to take care of our child, and like just, I personally just want to watch him grow. Like if it were up to me, I would stay home for at least a year with my child, and then I'd go back to work. But you know, situations are a bit different, and yeah, I can't really just like willy-nilly do that. But when I feel like I'm ready to go back to work again, I will go back to work. But for now, if there's a way I can find like part-time work, I think I told you guys that I don't want to go back to online teaching again, because it would just be borderline impossible to do online teaching when a child is crying in the background and all of that stuff. And I don't know what the future holds for me right now, but I know that I'm in this new mommy bubble, and that's where I want to stay right now, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I've always been a person that's been hyper independent, and I wanted to work and get my own money, but right now I'm okay with the money that I've saved and being home with our baby to raise our baby and just be. So yeah, that's that. Other updates that I want to talk to you guys about, especially like when it comes to giving birth in Japan as a foreigner specifically, the government actually really subsidizes your like giving birth process or whatever, and they pay a specific percentage, because Japan has a national health care, you know, we call it medical aid in South Africa, they call it national health insurance. So the government pays like 70% of your bill, and then you pay the rest. So when I gave birth, I actually did not pay for anything, and if anything, the government owes me money somehow. So like if you work for a Japanese company or company in Japan in general, I think you should know the rule of thumb here apparently is that you have to work for the company for a year and 6 months before you get pregnant for them to pay you maternity allowance. So my company didn't pay me maternity allowance, which means I had to claim back from the government, because obviously like I've been paying taxes in Japan. So then the health insurance that you're gonna be with the company that you're gonna be with is gonna be the one to pay you your salary for the 3 months that you'll be on maternity. You don't get that in the 3 months, you get that after you're done with maternity, is how it works here in Japan. So yeah, there's a lot of logistical, paperworky, bureaucracy things that we're just like dealing with and having to figure out, which I didn't know, obviously. Like, how would you know, because you've never been pregnant before? But the biggest update is that I quit my job. And the fact that I am now a bit more comfortable because my son is a bit older, to go outside for walks and just like interact a little bit with friends. I'm actually like toying with the idea of starting memberships. So let me know if you'll be interested in something like that, because I would like to create, I actually have created exclusive content for members only, and then also exclusive content for people that want to view it early, but you have to pay like a subscription to be part of the members. So yeah, let me know how you guys feel about that, and then we can try it out and see how things go. So yeah, without wasting any more of your time, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.